Hi, everybody. I'm Mike, and this is Mike Miller Talks Life. Today's quote: "A good life is not possible without self control." Why do people's lives end up in such a mess? Why do people end up in prison? Why do people get so addicted? Why are so many people living on the streets? And why are so many marriages falling apart? Why is there such a problem with racism? And why do we struggle with weight and compulsive spending and moodiness and outbursts of anger? And why do we eat too many chips and watch too much Netflix or spend too much time on Facebook? Why do we always have to have the last word and can't ever let anything go? These are all indicators that we need self-control. I mean, we can find many other reasons for some of these things, but the core reason is often a lack of self-control, and things just get out of control. Self-control is the ability to manage ourselves, to have mastery over ourselves and everything about ourselves. Managing our impulses, our emotions, our behaviors, choosing to delay immediate gratification so that you can accomplish something greater, going through short-term pain for long-term gain. We use self-control when we eat carrots instead of donuts, when we forgive instead of seeking revenge, when we don't eat the whole box of peanut brittle in one setting, which I could easily do. Self-control and willpower, they're big topics. We can't really cover the whole topic in this short YouTube video, but I want to talk about a few things that are caught up in this idea of self-control. Self-control is essential to a productive, good life. Walter Mischel created a test a long time ago. It's pretty famous, called the marshmallow test. And he wanted to see how 5-year-olds would respond to being left alone with a marshmallow for 15 minutes. They were put in a room, a table, chairs, the marshmallow was on the table, and they had to sit there for 15 minutes, which is a long time for a 5-year-old. I mean, they could move around the room, but the one directive is, we want you to try not to eat that marshmallow. And if you don't eat it, then we're going to give you another marshmallow, and you'll have 2 marshmallows to eat, not just one. Well, you can eat it. If you wait, you'll get 2. So the test starts. Almost none of them could hold off. Most tried to resist. Some immediately ate their marshmallow. The door was shut. They reach for it, shove it in their mouth, and eat it. I mean, it didn't even cross their mind not to eat it. But some were able to hold out. They would do things like covering their eyes so they couldn't see it, so it wouldn't tempt them, or they would jump around, walk around the room and pace and do things and try to get distracted. It was very interesting because Walter was able, primarily because his daughter was part of the test, to follow up on some of the children who went through this test. And he discovered that those who exhibited willpower did better when they got to high school. They had better grades. They did better on their tests, on their SAT tests. They had higher happiness levels. They were healthier, more popular, less likely to use drugs or get in other trouble. And he felt like this was revealing that self-control affected every area of our life. not just the one area. And it was a major key to success, not just IQ. Self-control is essential in leading a productive life and doing well in life. Self-control will lead you to freedom. Sometimes we confuse a lack of self-control with freedom. And many people think I'm not going to be bogged down with a bunch of disciplines and saying no, and I just want to be a free spirit. But actually what's happening is it's leading us to slavery. We are weak. We're mastered by whatever comes along, and we are not free to choose. We end up stuck, not able to take advantage of opportunities because we can't master unwanted impulses. If we don't master ourselves, somebody else will, or we ourselves will get in charge, and it's a mess. We become slaves to habits. We do not experience learning or accomplishing or developing ourselves. We've all seen people who are famous, high-profile people in government, in other leadership positions, even in leaders of larger churches. And they are successful. They've arrived. They've hit the top. And we see them one day in the news, or we hear about it, where they've lost everything because of a compromise in some not so positive area of their life. They've lacked self-control in that area, and it got the best of them. That area got out of control, and it destroyed everything. One area can lead to our undoing. It is not freedom to lack self-control. We blame people, we blame situations for what happens to us. But the primary problem is a lack of self-control and willpower. Self-control says, in essence, you get to be you. We all have so much potential as people. We have talents and skills and abilities and dreams and hopes. We have the ability to learn new things, try things, and we get to experience ourselves, our potential at some level when we practice self-control. When we practice self-control, we have a stronger willpower. We're able to control unwanted impulses that pass through our head. Those impulses, like somebody's being a jerk and you really just want to punch them, and yet you're able to say no to that, which is probably a good thing. We're able to control our behavior. We deny ourselves instant gratification because we know something greater is coming. We can accomplish our goals. We develop strong character. We become stronger in confidence, have healthier relationships. This is what self-control can bring your way. And we end up with living what's considered to be a good life, a successful life. Self-control is foundational. It's not just another virtue that we add to our life. It's foundational not because it's more important, but because the other virtues that we want in life are built on self-control. Without self-control, I can't be generous. I'm going to use everything I have for me. And then when a need comes along, I'm not going to have anything to give. I can't be honest or a man of integrity without self-control. I can't be kind, or I can't be loving or faithful to my commitments and the people in my life. I can't treat others with respect. I'm not going to be grateful. Self-control is like everything that we build in life. The foundation is very important because it's going to support and hold everything that you build on top of that. And that's where self-control is. It's the foundation. Self-control is limited. We can teach our children self-control and they will excel. We can increase our willpower and we can be stronger, saying no and yes to the right things. But self-control is limited. We all know this from experience. We've all had areas where we tried to practice self-control, and it's a struggle. And I know I have as I've gotten older, and now I'm retired, and I have to watch things, health things. I'm supposed to be walking every day, and I'm supposed to eat different, which is just annoying. Most things that my doctor and my family wants me to eat, well, some of them I've never even tasted in my life. I've never heard of. And I don't know, I don't want to, and I have to choose it, and it's frustrating. And I mean, who wants to eat broccoli and stuff like that? Well, it's self-control, and it's making those choices, and it's work, it's effort. Benjamin Franklin is known for accomplishing a lot of cool things. I mean, this guy was so curious about how things worked, and it pushed him into the role of creating things, inventing things. And but he hit a wall. He had developed a list of 13 virtues that he felt were important. And he planned to master each of these. And he was like such a driven guy. And he began to work on these virtues, and he began to experience failure. And he was very frustrated. He couldn't do it. He couldn't consistently manage accomplishing those virtues, living them out in every situation. We, like Benjamin Franklin, can work hard, but we will hit a wall. Our self-control will run out. We can't pull it off. And the key to self-control is not inward. It's not keep digging deep to find more strength and more self-control. It is upward. We will learn the powerful and liberating truth that we are powerless and our life is unmanageable when our self-control continues to run out. The 12-step groups are ahead of most of us because they learn this early as they work on whatever their problem might be. And we will begin to see this. We'll see areas that we can manage, and we can be successful, and we can be successful looking people, strong people, accomplished people. We can do things. But we all have weaknesses. We all have these areas that we sort of keep under wraps, most people don't know about, that we struggle with. And this weakness will lead us to a place where we will one day say to some close friends out loud to ourselves, "Hi, my name is," and we'll fill in the blank, and we'll admit my life is unmanageable. I can't control, and then we will list these areas where we continue to fail. We try. We work at it. We make some progress, but it just keeps popping up and causing us to stumble, setting us back. We can strengthen our willpower, but we will always be weak, and we will always hit a wall. And the reason for self-control being limited is we are broken deep at the core of our being. And we are not able to be all we can be. We're not able to reach that full potential of whatever. We're always going to have a problem. You see, I believe we are made by God and for God. God wants us to reach our potential because He created us. He wants us to be strong enough to resist impulses that set us off on a detour, get us off track. He wants us to live for Him. And every time we struggle with self-control, it's a reminder we need God. And He gives us a source for self-control. There will be a struggle, but we will be more successful as we rely on God's source of strength. And this is not about religion. Religion doesn't help. This is about the possibility of a love relationship with our Creator. Surprisingly, He doesn't come to judge you or condemn you. He doesn't come to beat you up or tell you how disgusted He is with you because you lack self-control. He comes to rescue and turn things around. And so this idea of self-control is limited and we will hit a wall, we'll discover that we are weak, is part of a plan to help us realize we need help from something greater than ourselves, God Himself. A good life is not possible without self-control. I believe self-control comes from God. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I know this is kind of a different kind of talk, and I don't always do this kind of thing, but I think self-control is such an important part of our lives, and yet it's hard. It's the hardest thing to do, and it opens the door for what our true need is. So I hope this has been helpful. It's something to think about and maybe talk about with others, maybe something to share with somebody, and which is always the goal, just to give you something to mull over and maybe help you with where you are in your life right now. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time, I'm hoping you have a good week. Thank you.